Hello and welcome to Gas Buteo Tabletop Football, where we have reached 100 episodes. That's right, this is the 100th episode. I did say this was going to be a bit of a longer show, longer program, and it probably will be because I'm going to natter on for a little bit. Anyway, what I wanted to do was something a bit different for this show. It's 100 episodes, and I want to sort of really recognise how we've got to this stage. 100 episodes on the YouTube channel. I've got the Subbuteo Stadium in front of me. Where did that all come from? And that's what we're going to talk about. So I may need a drink while I do this because I'm trying to do it in a oner. So excuse me. Right. Many months ago, at the start of the UK pandemic, the COVID pandemic that we've all enjoyed for the last 18 months, the date would have been somewhere around the end of February, early March 2020. I was tagged in a tweet on a different social media channel's Twitter account. Now, some of you may not know this, but I don't just run this YouTube channel, Gas Buteo Tabletop Football. I also do two other channels. One's called Woodland Life, which has nothing to do with Subbuteo or Rovers at all. But if you're into outdoor stuff, do check it out. The other one, which I've been running for over 9 years now, is the the all famous Bristol Rovers Snowboard and Skiing Club. That really is fairly explanatory what it's about. I've got an interest in snowboarding, I support Rovers, up the gas. And 9 years ago, I started off a sort of entity that's not just on YouTube, it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all sorts of things for Bristol Rovers Snowboard and Skiing Club. Actually started as the Bristol Rovers Snowboard Club, but I diversified after a few years. Anyway, back in March 2020, the Twitter account for the Bristol Rovers Snowboard and Skiing Club was tagged in someone else's tweet, a tweet by an account called Subbuteo Online. Now, it was tagged in that account by Adam Tutton, who is the Director of Community Trust at Bristol Rovers. Someone I actually saw last Wednesday night. He's a good lad. So anyway, Adam, like me. He tagged me in a tweet because they were talking about, Subbuteo Online was talking about running something called the Subbuteo Cup 2020, which is effectively sort of like it was almost like a global cup of any team that wanted to enter a Subbuteo match. Now, I looked at it at the time, I thought, look at this. This is nostalgia, Subbuteo. Who remembers that? I didn't even realise it was still going. And I do remember Subbuteo because I'm obviously of that age. I remember it in the 70s, 80s and 90s. I never played it myself, I sort of remember people having a few Subbuteo figures and pictures knocking around, but I was more either outdoors or indoors reading type. Anyway, that aside, I was tagged in this tweet, and the tweet related to the first round draw, effectively. And the first round draw was being held by a guy called Subbuteo Collector. That's Stuart, so hello Stuart. Right, now, having no previous experience of Subbuteo whatsoever, apart from knowing it and seeing it perhaps in a Freeman's catalogue back in the day, I clicked on this video and watched it, and straight away, I don't know, it just brought some sort of nostalgic feeling about playing a game that I suppose back in the day I wouldn't have been able to afford anyway. We were quite impoverished back in the day. And I watched this whole thing and thought, this is great. There's people out there that are playing Subbuteo and they've created this whole league, and it's just amazing to watch people do things that they're passionate about. So I watched this whole episode, and lo and behold, the reason I'd been tagged in it is because Bristol Rovers had a team in there. Now this tournament played out, Bristol Rovers' first game was against, I think it was against Wimbledon, it might have been. Can't remember now. And we went through to the second round. Next round we got knocked out, but the games were all played by all sorts of people all over the world, and that was it. It just, something in it just bit for me, and I had to get involved with this. I had to see what it was all about. So I went back to this guy's YouTube channel, Subbuteo Collector, and I watched his full back catalogue of videos from start right up to whatever he had. It'd been going for like about 4 years. And we just, I say we, because my missus watched them as well, we just really got drawn into it. It was just, I was watching it all the time. We were watching it like it was television, basically. We had one moment where I was watching an episode and Stuart had moved house and he mentioned it on his YouTube channel, and I shouted through to the kitchen. I go, "Care," that's my missus. "Yeah, he's moved house." And she comes running in from the kitchen. She goes, "What, has he split up with his missus?" I went, "No, I think he's just moved house." But it was almost like it was a soap opera we were watching. It was great. Anyway, another drink. After watching that whole back catalogue, I thought, you know what? I'm interested in this, so I'm going to buy a Rovers team. I bought a Rovers team, started playing with it. I didn't even have a pitch at the time. What I had was this. So it was a bit of MDF. And I bought off eBay a little old, like the felt pitch. Might be a bit of sacrilege, but I cut it up and I was just kicking around on here. Bought some goals, was doing little penalties, messing around really, thinking, is this something I'm into? And it was something I was into. So I was getting into that. And then I decided I was going to build a stadium, just, what else do you do in lockdown? Now, whilst I was watching all of Stuart's back catalogue of YouTube videos, I did also start picking up, when you watch YouTube and other things come up, it suggests that you might like. So Table Football Monthly started cropping up. Now, if you're new to Subbuteo, or you're watching this and this is like first time you've had anything to do with Subbuteo or tabletop football, I'm going to suggest you go through all of Subbuteo Collector's videos because, they're entertaining, I'll give you that, and also it gives such a knowledge and almost like a very different perspective on Subbuteo. I mean, this guy doesn't really play Subbuteo, but he certainly collects it. You've got to give him full credit for that. I'll be honest with you, it's a direct sort of message to Stuart here. I don't know how you do that because all those boxes everywhere would do my nut. I'm not sure I'm OCD, but I'm certainly somewhere on, if there is an OCD spectrum, somewhere there. I could not handle all those boxes around me all the time. It would freak me out. I'd have to really sort them out, get them all flat. Anyway, I digress. So fair play to you for doing that. Anyway, so I moved on from watching Subbuteo Collector onto watching Table Football Monthly. Now, if you've never seen Table Football Monthly, quite frankly, it doesn't matter if you're into Subbuteo or anything, just watch it because it is a magical work of art of a YouTube show. It is amazing. They're 45 minutes of a guy called Keith, another guy called Smithy, and a lady called Danielle talking about table football, talking about the history of table football, talking about all sorts of things. It's just interesting to watch. It is a work of art watching it. It's amazing. And it really opens your eyes to what can be created on YouTube. So thank you to everyone at Table Football Monthly for creating those shows. And really, I've learned so much from watching just those two channels about Subbuteo. It's incredible. Now after that, and during all that, I was so encouraged that we ended up creating all this. If you want to know how this came about, let's go back to the start of my channel. I built all these myself because the one thing I did notice about Subbuteo was that lots of things are quite expensive, certainly when they're in demand, which they seem to be during the lockdown. And the whole ethos of Subbuteo Stadium here was that you can do a lot of things really without spending that much money. I suppose in reality, there's not actually a lot of real Subbuteo stuff here. A lot of it is self-made stuff like the stands, stuff I've added in which I just think suits, and really aftermarket stuff really. But we've got something that I'm very happy with and very comfortable with, and I'm able to work with it and do what I want to do with it. So that's good. So anyway, where were we? Table Football Monthly, watch that, brilliant. Go and watch it. Now, after I'd finished watching or caught up to date with Table Football Monthly, which sadly is no longer running, but if you go on Keith's Facebook page, he can explain all about that, and I totally understand the reasons why he's done that. I started getting into a bit of a spin-off show from Subbuteo Collector, and that was something called The Subbuteo Show. Right, now, little bit different as a YouTube channel. There's 4 guys on that. One of them is Stephen, who runs the original Subbuteo Online, who did the Subbuteo Cup tournament that really drew me into this hobby. He also produces the new hobby magazine, so do have a look at that. Go on Subbuteo Online, and you can join his online community as well. There's another guy on there called Callum that does Westwood table soccer. Is an amazing artist with painting all the figures. How he has the tolerance to do that, it would drive me insane trying to paint everything all the time. As you know, if you've watched any of these videos, I have tried to paint stuff. I've got a very limited tolerance on being able to do that. So it's amazing to see that Callan can paint all these creations. I mean, these things are works of art. There's another guy on there. Yeah, there's another guy on there called Watsy. When I started watching the Subbuteo show, I actually thought Watsy was one of the sensible ones there. And then we started talking about solo play. But he's got his opinions and his view as well. So, you know, go and see that as well. And then, of course, Stuart from Subbuteo Collector, he's on there as well, his own particular style. And together, what they do on that show is they'll take a topic that's to do with Subbuteo and chat it out. There's a little bit of squabbling on there sometimes, but it's all very, you know, like-natured. And it has been very entertaining. I will say this, sometimes some of the views on there challenge me. I guess I'm watching the TV and going, what are you talking about? But, you know, I'm really new to this hobby, so it's not for me to be piping up and squabbling, and it all is in good nature anyway. So, really, to all of you that are in that little story there, thank you very much, because I've really got something out of this. And if you've done nothing else apart from it, you've made me very occupied for the last almost 18 months now and created something which I never had before. And you should be very proud of that, because there must be hundreds, if not thousands, of other people that are also watching your creations on YouTube and getting the same sort of thing out of it. So if your aim is to encourage people to join the hobby, then you're winning, you're doing it. So keep on with that. Hopefully my little bit is adding to it as well. I would like to say thank you as well to all the people that watch my channel, but in particular, a guy called Paul from Australia and a guy called Johan from France, who have really involved themselves in this channel. So they've joined in the competition I run, and they often comment on my videos and give bits of advice and all sorts of things. Johan in particular, he runs his own YouTube channel, it's quite new, and he's also on TikTok. I have a TikTok account. Oh, I didn't talk about TikTok. So although we're on here, YouTube, and we've got currently, I think it's 148 followers, which is amazing really. Bear in mind, I've run the Bristol Rovers Snowboard and Skiing Club YouTube channel for 9 years. I've got something like 40 followers on that, if that. So the fact that I've got 147 on here is just cracking really. But on TikTok is really where Subbuteo has taken off. Now I do little, very different videos on there, little short videos, me messing around, doing little tournaments, little flicks, little trick shots. And we've reached on that, and I do say we, because it is me and all the followers that have joined in and involved. We've reached over 11,000 follows on that. That is amazing. 11,000 people around the world are following me play Subbuteo. And I'm not even an expert in it, you know, I just do it because it's a bit of a laugh. So to all of you, thank you very much. Very special day today anyway, because it's the start of the Euro 2020 bracket, 21 closed bracket. I'm just about to go down to my local pub to watch the opening ceremony of that. It's coming home up the England. And for the rest of you, I hope you enjoy Euro 2020. I hope you carry on tuning in and enjoy what I do here. And hopefully, to those of you that have been involved in creating this and part of that history of Subbuteo Stadium, hopefully you'll meet up one day and we can have a beer. But until then, as ever, up the gas.